There comes a moment in every life when the noise fades, the familiar disappears, and the path ahead seems empty. You look around, searching for hands to hold, voices to comfort, but all you find is silence. And in that silence, a question arises. Why is God telling me to walk alone? Understand this. Solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. You are being pulled away from the crowd because your destiny is not tied to them. If you were meant to walk with them, they would still be here, but they are not. And that is not a mistake. When God calls you into isolation, He is stripping away the distractions, the noise, the attachments that blind you. He is making space within you so that His voice may be heard above all else. Think of the greatest transformations in history. Moses alone on the mountain, Jesus alone in the wilderness. Before any great calling, there is always solitude. Because revelation does not come in crowds, it comes in quiet moments of stillness. You may feel abandoned, but you are not. You may feel unseen, but you are more watched over than ever before. God has drawn you aside because you are being refined. You are learning that your strength does not come from the approval of others, but from the power within you. Detached from the illusion that you need anyone, but the divine presence that moves through you. You are complete, you are enough, and this path, though it may seem lonely, is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. So walk forward, not with fear, but with faith. You are not alone. You never were. You never will be. There is a moment in life when everything falls silent. The conversations that once filled your days fade, the people who once surrounded you drift away, and you are left with nothing but your own presence. For many, this can feel like abandonment, like an unbearable loneliness. But what if this solitude is not a curse, but a divine calling? What if the stillness you fear is actually the doorway to revelation? When you are alone, the distractions of the world disappear. The opinions, the expectations, the endless noise of the external world, all of it fades away, leaving only you and the presence of something greater. In this sacred space, you begin to hear what was always there, but drowned out by the chaos of daily life. You begin to recognize the whispers of truth that were always speaking, but could never be heard over the noise of the world. God speaks in stillness. He does not compete for your attention. He does not raise His voice over the distractions you choose to engage with. Instead, He waits until you are ready, until you have been stripped of all that is unnecessary, until you have been removed from the crowd, until you are quiet enough to listen. That is why solitude is so often misunderstood. People think it is emptiness, when in truth it is fullness. It is the space where the divine reveals itself, where wisdom flows freely, where answers come not from the mind but from something deeper. Look at the great figures of history. Those who walked with purpose, those who saw beyond the surface of reality. They were not shaped in the presence of crowds. They were shaped in solitude. Moses was alone on the mountain when he received the commandments. Jesus retreated to the wilderness to commune with God before beginning his ministry. Even the prophets, the mystics, the enlightened ones, all were called into isolation before they could step into their destiny. Why? Because revelation does not come in noise. It does not come when you are entangled in the world's distractions. It comes when you are still enough to receive it. But solitude is not easy. The human mind craves stimulation. It seeks validation from others, reassurance from the external. To be alone is to face yourself without distractions, without excuses. This is why so many fear solitude, not because of the emptiness, but because of what they might find when the distractions are gone. The unresolved wounds, the suppressed emotions, the unanswered questions, all rise to the surface when there is nowhere left to hide. And yet, This is precisely why solitude is necessary. It forces you to confront what you have long avoided. It brings to light the hidden truths of your soul. There is a reason why the world teaches you to fear being alone. Society glorifies constant activity, endless interactions, the idea that you must always be connected, always engaged, always doing something. But consider this. Why is there such an effort to keep you distracted? Why is there a fear of silence? Because in silence, you wake up. In solitude, you begin to see clearly. You recognize the illusions you once believed in, the conditioning that shaped you, the limitations you unknowingly accepted. And once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you awaken to the truth of who you are no longer controlled by the falsehoods of the world. The greatest realizations do not come when you are surrounded by people. They come in moments of deep stillness. When you are alone, you begin to see that you were never truly alone. The presence you have been seeking outside of yourself has been within you all along. The wisdom you have searched for, the answers you have begged for, they are not given to you by others, they arise from within when you are ready to receive them. And so, if you find yourself in a season of solitude, do not resist it. Do not seek to fill the emptiness with distractions. Instead, embrace it, sink into it. Let it reveal to you what you have been too busy to notice. Let it strip away the falsehoods and leave only the truth. The loneliness you fear is not loneliness at all. It is an invitation. It is a sacred calling to return to yourself, to listen to the voice that has been waiting for you all along. You will find that as you embrace solitude, fear begins to fade. The anxieties that once consumed you lose their power. The need for validation from others dissolves. You realize that everything you were looking for, peace, clarity, purpose, was never outside of you. It was within you, waiting for you to be still enough to see it. This is why solitude is the path to revelation. It is not a punishment, but a gift. It is not the absence of something, but the presence of everything. And when you surrender to it, when you allow yourself to be still, you will hear what was always there. The voice of truth, the voice of wisdom, the voice of God. Time in every journey when the familiar begins to fade. The people, places, and routines that once felt like home start to feel distant, as if an unseen force is pulling you away. It is in these moments that confusion sets in and you begin to wonder, why is everything changing? Why does it feel like I am being separated from what I once knew? But understand this, separation is not rejection. It is the divine hand at work, clearing the path for your transformation. You cannot grow while clinging to what no longer serves you. Too often, people resist change because they find comfort in the familiar. Even when circumstances no longer align with their highest good, they hold on, afraid of what might happen if they let go. But growth demands release. You cannot step into a new version of yourself while remaining attached to an old reality. And so, when it is time for you to evolve, life will begin to shift. Certain relationships will fade, situations will become uncomfortable, and the very things you once depended on will start to dissolve. Not because you are being punished, but because you are being prepared for something greater. Look at nature. Every transformation is preceded by separation. A seed must be buried in the darkness before it can break through the soil and reach the light. A caterpillar must withdraw into a cocoon before it can emerge as a butterfly. The same principle applies to your own journey. Before you can step into your next level, you must first be pulled away from the attachments that keep you bound to your current state. This is why you may feel as if life is isolating you. You may find yourself alone, distanced from people who once played a significant role in your life. Do not resist this process. Sometimes God removes certain individuals not because they are bad, but because their purpose in your story has been fulfilled. If they were meant to continue with you, they would. But transformation requires elevation, and not everyone is meant to climb with you. But it is not just people you will be separated from, it is also old habits, limiting beliefs, and outdated ways of thinking. The mind is conditioned to seek familiarity, but growth happens outside of comfort. There may be aspects of your life that once served you, but no longer align with where you are being called to go. And so, life will begin to strip them away. It may feel uncomfortable, even painful, but trust that it is necessary. The very things you are being separated from are the things that have been keeping you small. Every major breakthrough in life is preceded by a period of discomfort. Before the dawn, there is darkness. Before expansion, there is contraction. You may feel like you are losing everything, but in reality, you are being repositioned. What seems like loss is actually alignment. You are not being abandoned, you are being guided. The old must be cleared so the new can take its place. The hardest part of separation is surrender. The mind clings to what it knows, fearing the unknown. But faith is the willingness to release what is familiar, even when the future is uncertain. It is the understanding that God does not take without replacing, that every ending is simply the beginning of something new. You may not see it yet, but what is being prepared for you is far greater than what you are leaving behind. The mistake many people make is trying to hold on to what is falling away. They chase after relationships that have already run their course. They fight to remain in situations that no longer serve their purpose. But resistance only prolongs the process. The sooner you accept that separation is a necessary part of transformation, the sooner you will step into the life that is meant for you. Let go. Trust the process. If something is being removed, trust that it no longer aligns with your highest good. If a door is closing, trust that it was never meant to lead you where you are going. When you surrender to this truth, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You begin to move with life instead of against it. And in doing so, you step into a higher version of yourself, one that is no longer bound by the limitations of the past. One day you will look back and understand why things had to happen the way they did. You will see that every moment of separation was leading you towards something greater. And in that moment, you will realize you were never losing. You were only. There comes a point in every journey when you must walk alone, not because you wish to, but because life will separate you from the crowd. The comfort of companionship will be replaced with silence, and the familiar voices you once depended on will grow distant. It is in this space, where you have no one else to lean on, that faith is truly tested. Because when you have no one to rely on, you are left with only one choice: to trust in divine provision and the power within you. Many people spend their lives seeking security in others. They look for reassurance from family, validation from friends, and support from relationships. While there is nothing wrong with human connection, dependence on others weakens the spirit. It creates an illusion that strength comes from external sources, when in truth, strength comes from within. This is why life will often place you in situations where you must stand alone, not as punishment, but as preparation. Because until you learn to trust in something higher, until you recognize the power that exists within you, you will always feel incomplete without others. Walking alone strips away illusions. It forces you to see reality for what it is, not for what you wish it to be. It removes the false security that comes from leaning on others and reveals the truth. You were always meant to rely on something greater. Faith is not built in comfort. It is built in uncertainty. When everything is stripped away, when there is no one left to call, when you stand at the edge of the unknown, that is when faith is either strengthened or broken. And if you choose to trust, you will see that you were never truly alone. God does not test you with solitude to break you. He does it to show you how strong you truly are. When you walk alone, you begin to see the unseen hand guiding your steps. You notice the small miracles, the doors that open when all seems lost. the provision that appears when there is no logical explanation. This is where faith is born, not in words, not in knowledge, but in experience. Because when you have nothing left but trust, you begin to witness divine power in ways you never imagined. But the journey of solitude is not easy. It is in these moments of isolation that doubt creeps in. The mind whispers, what if you fail? What if no one comes to help you? What if you are truly alone? These thoughts test the very foundation of your faith, and yet it is in facing them that you grow. Because the only way to silence doubt is through experience. The only way to overcome fear is by walking forward despite it. And the moment you do, you will realize you were never walking alone. Your imagination, people seek shortcuts. They look for someone to guide them, to reassure them, to walk the path with them. But the greatest transformations happen when you face the path alone. Because in solitude you discover what you are truly capable of. You stop waiting for permission, stop seeking approval, stop relying on others for strength. You begin to move with certainty, not because others believe in you, but because you believe in yourself. This is why life removes certain people from your path, not because they are bad, but because you must learn to stand on your own. Dependence keeps you small. It keeps you attached to a false sense of security. But when you are forced to rely on something greater, you awaken to your own power. You begin to understand that strength does not come from those around you. If you find yourself walking alone, do not fear. This is not a sign of loss. It is a sign of transformation. You are being prepared for something greater. You are being called to trust in ways you never have before. And if you embrace this journey, if you surrender to it, you will emerge stronger than you ever thought possible. One day, you will look back and realize that walking alone was the greatest gift you were ever given, because it was in that solitude that you discovered the truth. Faith is not built in comfort, and strength is not found in others. It was within you all along. The moment in life when everything shifts. The people who once surrounded you start to drift away. The places that once felt familiar no longer feel like home. The conversations that once engaged you now seem empty. It is as if an invisible force is pulling you away from the world you knew, leading you into a season of isolation. This is not a mistake. It is not rejection. It is preparation. Every person who is called to something greater will first be called into solitude. This is a divine principle that has been repeated throughout history. Before elevation, there must be separation. Before stepping into your purpose, you must first be refined in the silence of isolation. It is in these moments, when you are stripped of distractions and comforts, that your true strength is revealed. Many people resist this process. They see isolation as punishment, as if they have been abandoned. But what they fail to understand is that solitude is a sacred space where transformation takes place. When God is preparing you for something greater, He must first remove the noise of the world so that you can hear Him clearly. It is only in stillness that true revelation comes. Think about the greatest figures throughout history. They were all called into solitude before they stepped into their destiny. The visionary, the leader, the one chosen to carry a higher purpose, all had to walk through a season of isolation. Why? Because greatness requires preparation. It requires a stripping away of the old self so that the new self can emerge. When you are alone, you are forced to confront yourself. You can no longer hide behind distractions, relationships, or external validation. You begin to see yourself clearly, your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses. This is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Because before you can step into your higher calling, you must first become the person who is ready to carry it. Isolation teaches discipline. It teaches patience. It forces you to rely on something greater than yourself. When you have no one to turn to, you learn to turn inward. You begin to cultivate a relationship with the divine, trusting in ways you never had to before. And as you grow in this trust, you begin to understand that you were never truly alone. But make no mistake, this season will test you. There will be moments of doubt, moments when you question everything. You will wonder if you are on the right path. You will feel the urge to run back to what is familiar, to surround yourself with people just to escape the silence. But do not be deceived. The old world no longer fits you, because you have outgrown it. Going back would only delay what is meant for you. You must trust that isolation is not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of your transformation. You are being molded, shaped, refined. You are being stripped of everything that is not in alignment with your purpose. And while it may feel uncomfortable now, one day you will look back and understand why it had to happen this way. Not everyone will understand this path. Some will question why you are withdrawing. Others will assume you are lost. But do not waste your energy trying to explain. The process of elevation is not meant to be understood by everyone. It is meant for you. And when the time is right, you will emerge stronger, wiser, more alive than ever before. You will step into your purpose with clarity and conviction, no longer seeking approval or validation, because the time spent in isolation will have prepared you for exactly this moment. If you find yourself in a season of solitude, embrace it. Do not resist. Do not fear. You are not being forgotten, you are being prepared. And when the world finally sees the version of you that was being shaped in the silence, they will understand. But by then it will not matter, because you will know God separates before He elevates, and you were always meant for something greater. There will be moments in life when you feel completely alone. The world around you will grow quiet, and the people you once relied on will seem distant. You may look around and wonder why you have been left to walk this path by yourself. But the truth is, loneliness is an illusion. You are never truly alone. From the moment you were created, a presence has been within you, guiding you, protecting you, speaking to you in ways the world cannot understand. This presence does not abandon, does not forget, does not overlook. It is always there, whispering in the silence, moving in the unseen. But in order to recognize it, you must first step away from the distractions of the world. Loneliness only exists when you believe that your connection to others defines your existence. But you were never meant to depend on people for fulfillment. Their presence in your life is temporary, their roles ever-changing. Some will walk beside you for a season, while others will drift away. Yet, through it all, one thing remains constant: the presence of God within you. You may not always feel it, but that does not mean it is absent. The sun continues to shine even when hidden behind clouds. The wind still moves though you cannot see it. In the same way, the divine presence within you is always there, whether you acknowledge it or not. It is the source of every inspired thought, every moment of strength, every quiet assurance that tells you to keep going, even when you feel like giving up. The illusion of loneliness is strongest when you look outward instead of inward. When you seek love, validation, and comfort from external sources, you will always feel a sense of lack, because the world cannot fill what only the divine can satisfy. No relationship, no friendship, no amount of recognition can replace the connection you have within you. That is why so many people feel empty, even when surrounded by others. They are searching for something outside of themselves that can only be found within. You must learn to be still, to quiet the noise, to listen. Because when you do, you will hear the voice that has been guiding you all along. It does not shout, does not beg for attention. It speaks in the moments between your thoughts, in the deep knowing that rises within you when you least expect it. And when you begin to trust it, you will realize that you were never walking alone. Every time you faced an obstacle and somehow found the strength to keep going, that was the presence within you. Every time you felt a deep sense of peace, despite the chaos around you, that was the divine reminding you that all is well. Every time you received an idea, a vision, a dream that seemed to come from nowhere, that was the voice guiding you toward your purpose. But you must recognize it. You must shift your awareness. Instead of seeking comfort in people, seek connection with the divine. Instead of fearing solitude, embrace it as an opportunity to deepen your understanding. Because once you do, loneliness will lose its power over you. You are always connected, always supported, always guided. The presence within you does not leave, does not falter, does not weaken. It is your constant companion, the source of your wisdom, the foundation of your strength. And when you truly understand this, you will never feel alone again. So do not be afraid of solitude. Do not resist the moments of stillness. They are not emptiness, they are fullness waiting to be discovered. You are never walking this path alone. You never have been and you never will be, because the presence within you is eternal, unshakable, and ever present. And when you trust in that, loneliness will no longer exist. It will simply fade away like an illusion that was never real to begin with. Time in life when you must step away, not out of anger, not out of resentment, but out of necessity. The noise of the world, the expectations of others, the endless distractions, they cloud your vision, making it difficult to see what is real. But when you detach, when you walk alone, everything becomes clear. Most people live in a fog of illusions. They chase approval, believing that validation from others will bring them peace. They cling to relationships, fearing that solitude means failure. They remain in situations that no longer serve them, simply because they are afraid of the unknown. But true clarity, true understanding, only comes when you step away from all that is unnecessary. Walking alone is not a punishment, it is a gift. It is an opportunity to strip away everything that is not aligned with your purpose. In solitude, you are no longer influenced by the fears and limitations of others. You are free to see yourself, your desires, and your path with absolute clarity. Detachment does not mean isolation. It does not mean shutting yourself off from the world forever. It simply means letting go of what is clouding your vision. It means releasing the attachments that keep you stuck, that keep you living the same patterns over and over again. When you detach, you create space. And in that space, clarity is born. Look at your life. How much of what you believe is truly yours? How much of your identity has been shaped by external forces, by family, by society, by fear? When you walk alone, you begin to separate what is real from what is an illusion. You start to see where you have been living according to someone else's script, rather than writing your own. There is great power in solitude. It allows you to listen to your own thoughts, to your intuition, to the divine wisdom that is always speaking, but is so often drowned out by the noise of the world. When you are constantly surrounded by opinions, by distractions, by the expectations of others, it is difficult to hear the truth. But when you step away, when you detach, the answers become clear. Clarity is not something you chase. It is something that naturally arises when the noise is removed. Imagine a muddy river. If you keep stirring it, the water remains cloudy, but if you let it settle, the mud sinks and the water becomes clear. This is what happens when you detach. The illusions fall away, and what remains is truth. Once you gain clarity, you gain power. The power to create your own reality. When you see life as it truly is, you are no longer controlled by illusions. You are no longer moved by fear, by doubt, by the opinions of others. You begin to understand that you are the creator, that your thoughts shape your world, that your beliefs determine your experiences. Many people try to manifest a better life while still clinging to old attachments. They want abundance while holding on to a scarcity mindset. They want love while refusing to let go of past wounds. They want freedom while staying attached to everything that keeps them bound. But manifestation requires space. You cannot pour fresh water into a cup that is already full. You must empty it first. You must detach. Detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is the understanding that nothing outside of you defines you. It is the recognition that your peace, your happiness, your fulfillment do not depend on anything external. And when you reach this state, when you release the need to control, to force, to cling, you become unstoppable. Walking alone is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It is the path of those who seek truth, of those who refuse to be trapped by illusion. It is the journey of those who know that clarity is worth more than comfort, that peace is worth more than approval, that their destiny is worth more than any temporary attachment. You are never truly alone. The presence of God within you is constant, guiding you, shaping you, and leading you toward your highest self. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and walk forward with confidence. The path may feel lonely at times, but it is leading you exactly where you need to be. Thank you. Close your eyes for a moment and listen. Not with your ears, but with your heart. What words do you repeat to yourself day after day? Are they words of power, of certainty, of abundance? Or do you mutter phrases of doubt, limitation, and fear? Understand this: your words are the brushstrokes painting the canvas of your life. Every declaration, whether spoken in joy or in frustration, is a seed planted in the soil of your existence. And what is planted must grow. The world you see today is the result of yesterday's words. Every time you spoke of what you could or could not do, of what was possible or impossible, you wrote the script for your life. This is why you must guard your tongue as one would guard a great treasure. You say, "But I have spoken of riches, yet they do not appear." Ah, but did you speak them with the conviction that they were already yours? Or did you declare them as something far away, something uncertain, something you merely hoped for? The secret lies in knowing, in declaring, "I am," not "I hope to be." Speak as though it is already done. Feel the weight of those words in your chest as you say them. I am successful. I am wealthy. I am deeply loved. And as you do, the world begins to conform. The energy around you bends, rearranges, and delivers unto you that which you have declared. But beware, words of doubt spoken in a moment of weakness are just as powerful. To say, "I don't have enough," "things never work out for me," or "I always struggle," is to chain yourself to a reality you do not want. The universe does not discriminate. It simply brings forth what you affirm. So I tell you, starting today, let no idle word escape your lips. If you wish to see a life of abundance, let abundance be the only thing you speak of. If you wish to experience love, speak as one already adored. Even in silence you hold power, for when you cannot yet speak of greatness, it is better to say nothing than to curse yourself with words of doubt. The world moves at the command of your voice. Speak wisely, speak powerfully, speak as if you already have all that you desire, because in truth you do. Every word you utter is not just sound, it is a force, a decree sent into the unseen, shaping the world around you in ways you may not yet comprehend. What you say is not empty. It is filled with creative energy, moving through the invisible fabric of reality, arranging circumstances, influencing outcomes, and molding the very essence of your existence. Consider for a moment the conversations you have with yourself and others. Are your words ones of power, certainty, and abundance? Or do they echo fear, lack, and limitation? Every phrase spoken with conviction sets something into motion, like ripples expanding outward, touching everything in their path. When you declare, I am successful, you send forth an order into the unseen, commanding the forces of life to align accordingly. But when you say, I will never get ahead, you unknowingly cast a spell upon yourself, ensuring that your reality reflects the struggle you have spoken into existence. There is no neutrality in speech. Words either build or destroy, uplift or diminish. The subconscious mind does not argue, does not reason. It simply accepts and executes the instructions given to it through the words you repeat. And what is accepted inwardly must be expressed outwardly. That is the great secret. The world around you is nothing more than the mirror of your internal dialogue. You are not merely describing life as it is, you are creating it as you go. Think of the times you have spoken about misfortune even before it arrived. You may have said, things never go my way, and sure enough, the world delivered proof of your words. This was not coincidence. It was the result of your unseen command. Likewise, those who constantly affirm their well-being, even in difficult times, often find that life bends in their favor. They do not wait for proof to believe. They believe first, and the proof follows. Your words carry an energetic weight, shaping your perception and the perception others have of you. When you speak with confidence, when you declare what is yours as if it is already so, people respond to you differently. Opportunities seem to appear effortlessly. Doors open where once there were none. It is not luck, nor is it magic. It is simply the law at work. The same law that governs the tides, the stars, and the changing seasons is the law that governs your speech and its creative power. But beware of idle words, for even those spoken in jest carry weight. To say, I am always unlucky, may seem harmless in the moment, but repeated often enough, it solidifies into belief, and belief crystallizes into experience. The world does not discern between what you truly desire and what you habitually affirm. It simply gives you more of what you declare with feeling. This is why you must guard your words as one would guard a great treasure, for they are the seeds of tomorrow's harvest. If you wish to transform your life, begin with the words you speak. Declare only what you desire to see, and speak as though it is already yours. If health is your goal, say, I am vibrant and full of energy. If wealth is your aim, affirm, money flows to me effortlessly. If love is what you seek, declare, I am deeply loved and cherished. At first it may feel unnatural, but persist. Just as a seed does not become a tree overnight, your words take time to manifest, but they will. And when doubts arise, as they surely will, remain silent rather than give power to words that contradict your desires. The wise understand that even silence is a form of speech, for in choosing not to affirm negativity, they keep their creations intact. Speak with intention, with clarity, and with faith. The world is listening, and as surely as the sun rises, it will respond. Every word that leaves your lips carries power, whether you recognize it or not. The universe does not pause to analyze whether you meant what you said, or whether you were simply joking, complaining, or speaking without thought. It takes your words as commands, fulfilling them without question, shaping your reality according to the law you set forth. This is why you must become deeply conscious of the way you speak about yourself, your circumstances, and your future. When you say, I always struggle, life responds accordingly, providing more struggle. When you declare, nothing ever works out for me, the unseen forces of reality align to make those words true. You may not think much of casual complaints, but every sentence you repeat reinforces a reality that eventually becomes undeniable. The great secret is that what you say with conviction, whether in joy or frustration, becomes law in your world. There is no neutrality in your declarations. When you say, I am successful, and truly believe it, unseen forces begin to move in ways you cannot yet see, bringing forth opportunities, connections, and circumstances to match your words. But if you say, I will never make it, even in passing, the same unseen forces begin to block your progress, ensuring that your words do not return to you empty. Many people speak without awareness, unknowingly cursing themselves with their own declarations. They talk of debt, sickness, and loneliness, reinforcing these conditions simply by giving them attention and authority. The universe is impartial. It does not recognize sarcasm, jokes, or fleeting frustrations. It only fulfills. This is why you must learn to declare only that which you desire, for once spoken, your words begin their journey toward fulfillment. To master this law, you must speak as if your desires are already yours. If you wish for abundance, you must not say, I hope to be rich someday. Instead, declare, I am wealthy now. If you long for love, do not say, I wish someone would love me. Instead, affirm, I am deeply loved. Your words should not reflect your current circumstances, but rather the reality you intend to live. This is not denial, this is creation. It is through this unwavering speech that you set the course of your life. You may wonder, how can I say something that does not yet appear to be true? But that is the very key. The seen world is merely a reflection of past thoughts and words. To change it, you must speak ahead of what your eyes perceive. This is why those who understand this law do not wait for success to speak of themselves as successful. They declare it now, knowing that their words will call forth the conditions necessary to make it a reality. Be mindful also of the words spoken by those around you. If they declare negativity, do not join them. Do not affirm limitation, even in sympathy. When someone says, it's impossible, remain silent or counter it with, anything is possible. The company you keep and the words they speak influence the atmosphere in which you exist. Surround yourself with those who speak of abundance, possibility, and success, for their words will reinforce your own. If ever you slip and speak words of lack or doubt, do not despair. Simply replace them immediately. If you catch yourself saying, I'm always unlucky, immediately correct it with, I am always in the right place at the right time. The key is persistence. The more you affirm the reality you desire, the faster it solidifies. Your words are not mere sounds, they are commands. They do not fade into nothingness once spoken. They set things into motion. Speak only of what you want to see and speak as if it is already done. The universe does not question your words. It simply fulfills. Every word you speak carries a frequency, a vibrational essence that resonates with the unseen forces of life. Like a tuning fork, your words emit an energy that attracts matching experiences into your reality. The universe does not operate by chance. It responds to vibration, and nothing carries more vibrational power than the words you consistently affirm. Consider the way sound influences the physical world. A single spoken word is more than just sound waves moving through the air. It is a declaration that sets invisible forces into motion. Ancient wisdom has long understood this truth. Mantras, prayers, affirmations, and sacred utterances have been used for centuries to shape reality. Science, too, confirms this. Words influence water. Words influence plants. And most importantly, words influence the mind, which in turn shapes experience. Now, think of the words you repeat daily. Are they in alignment with what you wish to create? Are you speaking health, wealth, and success into your life, or do you unknowingly reinforce struggle, lack, and hardship? Every time you say, I am tired, you reinforce exhaustion. Every time you say, I never have enough, you keep yourself in a state of lack. But when you declare, I am strong, I am abundant, I am unstoppable, you shift your frequency, and the world begins to move accordingly. Words have the power to attract, to repel, to heal, or to harm. When spoken with emotion, they become even more potent. A word spoken with deep belief carries a frequency so strong that it must find expression in the physical realm. This is why those who continually affirm their success, their joy, their power, often see those very things materialize in their lives. They have attuned themselves to the frequency of what they desire, and the law of vibration ensures that what is in harmony must come together. The key is consistency. Speaking words of power once or twice is not enough. You must make it a daily practice, a habit, so ingrained that no thought of doubt can override it. Just as a tuning fork resonates at a particular frequency, your words must remain steady, unwavering, aligned with the reality you wish to see. It is not enough to merely say the words. You must feel them, embody them, become them. Saying, "I am successful," while harboring doubt will not produce results. But saying, "I am successful," with full conviction, feeling the energy of success in your very being, will reshape your reality. This is the secret of those who seem to have life effortlessly bend in their favor. They do not speak of their desires as something distant or unattainable. They affirm them as present, as real, as already theirs. Beware of words spoken in frustration or carelessness. The universe does not distinguish between what you truly desire and what you casually reinforce through repetition. If you say, "I am always unlucky," even in jest, you set that frequency into motion. Instead, choose your words wisely. When you catch yourself speaking in limitation, pause, correct it, and shift to a higher vibration. Surround yourself with words that uplift, empower, and inspire. Read them, write them, speak them aloud. Let them become the dominant vibration of your life. The more you immerse yourself in words of greatness, the more you align with that energy, and the more it flows toward you. You are always tuning yourself to a particular frequency through your speech. Make sure that frequency matches the life you wish to live. Speak abundance, and it will find you. Speak love, and it will embrace you. Speak power, and you will feel it rise within you. Your words are the signal, the command, the vibration that shapes all that comes to you. Choose them wisely, and they will bring forth all you desire. Your words are powerful forces of creation, shaping your reality whether you realize it or not. Every sentence you speak is like planting a seed in the soil of the unseen. Some words bear fruit in abundance, while others bring forth only barrenness and limitation. When you say, "I don't have enough," you are not merely describing your situation. You are affirming it, reinforcing it, and ensuring that it continues. The universe responds not to what you wish for, but to what you declare. To speak words of lack is to command scarcity into existence. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," you shut the door to abundance. Every time you say, "It's impossible," you build a wall between yourself and the very thing you desire. These words do not simply fade into the air. They shape your perception, your decisions, and ultimately your outcomes. They act as a vibrational barrier, keeping you trapped in the very conditions you wish to escape. But there is a way out. The key is to speak only of fulfillment, even when your senses present evidence to the contrary. This is not denial, it is a higher form of awareness. It is the recognition that your external world is nothing more than a reflection of past thoughts, past words, past beliefs. To change your experience, you must first change your speech. Instead of saying, "I don't have enough money," say, "Money flows to me effortlessly." Instead of saying, "I can't find love," say, "I'm surrounded by love in all forms." Do not declare what is missing, declare what is coming, what is already yours in the unseen. Speak it until it becomes your truth. You may wonder, but how can I say I am abundant when I have no money? How can I say I am healthy when I feel unwell? The answer is simple. Your words precede your reality. What you consistently affirm will eventually solidify into form. Those who understand this law do not wait for visible proof before they speak their desires into existence. They know that words are the architects of experience, shaping the unseen before it becomes the seen. This is why you must be unwavering in your declarations. Do not allow momentary difficulties to cause you to speak against yourself. Even in the face of obstacles, hold firm to words of power. When circumstances tempt you to say, "It's not working," respond with, "Everything is working in my favor." When doubt whispers, "You are failing," counter it with, "I am on the path to great success." Your words do not just describe your reality, they create it. When you refuse to speak lack, you refuse to accept it as your truth. When you declare abundance, even before it appears, you make room for it to manifest. The unseen forces of life are always listening, always responding, always moving in alignment with the words you repeatedly affirm. Even in conversations with others, be mindful. Do not engage in discussions that reinforce limitation. If someone says, "It's hard to succeed in this world," do not agree. Instead say, "Opportunities are everywhere." If they say, "I'm always unlucky," counter with, "Good fortune is always on its way." Not only do these words uplift you, but they also shift the energy of those around you. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. At first it may feel unfamiliar, but soon you will notice a shift. You will feel more empowered, more at peace, more in control of your destiny. The world will begin to reflect back to you the abundance you have been speaking. Never again speak of lack. Never again declare limitation. No matter what your eyes see, no matter what your circumstances suggest, hold to the truth that you are abundant, successful, and capable. Speak only of fulfillment, and soon, fulfillment will be all you know. The words you speak are not just sounds. They are creative forces that shape your reality. Every time you declare something, you are impressing it upon your subconscious mind, and the subconscious does not question. It simply accepts and acts upon what it is given. This is why the secret to transforming your life lies in the power of present tense speech. When you say, "I am wealthy, I am loved," or "I am thriving," you are not merely making statements, you are issuing commands that mold your existence. Most people speak of their desires in the future tense. They say, "One day I will be successful," or "I hope to find happiness someday." But the subconscious mind does not operate in the future. It only understands the present. When you place your desires in the realm of someday, you are unknowingly keeping them at a distance. The universe responds to the now, and so must you. This is why affirmations in the present tense are so powerful. When you declare, "I am successful," you are training your mind to accept it as reality. Even if your external circumstances do not yet reflect it, your subconscious begins to align with that truth. It starts to shift your thoughts, your actions, and your perceptions to match the new identity you have claimed. Over time, the world around you will adjust accordingly, because what is within always expresses itself outwardly. Some may argue, "But how can I say I am wealthy when my bank account is empty?" The answer is that your words precede your reality. Everything in life begins with a spoken word, a thought given form. If you continue to say, "I am broke," you reinforce that state. But if you declare, "I am abundant," you open the door for abundance to flow into your experience. You are not lying to yourself. You are stepping into the truth of what is possible. The key is consistency. One moment of positive speech will not override years of habitual doubt. You must immerse yourself in the language of success, love, and prosperity. Speak these truths daily, as naturally as you breathe. Let them become the dominant vibration of your life. When doubt creeps in, do not entertain it. Replace it instantly with a statement of power. "I am strong. I am capable. I am worthy." It is also important to infuse your words with feeling. Mechanical repetition will not produce the same results as words spoken with conviction. When you say, "I am thriving," feel the energy of thriving within you. Let it fill your body and mind. This emotional charge strengthens the command and accelerates its manifestation. Every great transformation begins with a shift in speech. Look at those who have achieved great things, and you will see that they speak as if their success is already theirs. They do not say, "I hope to be great one day." They declare, "I am great." This is not arrogance, it is alignment with truth. The moment you accept your desired reality as already present, it begins to take form. Be mindful of your words in every aspect of life. Speak as though you are already the person you wish to be. Do not say, "I am trying to be confident." Say, "I am confident." Do not say, "I want to be healthy." Say, "I am vibrant and strong." Let no words of lack or limitation escape your lips, for they are nothing more than illusions. The subconscious mind listens to everything you say. It does not argue, it does not analyze. It simply obeys. Speak to it with authority. Give it commands that uplift and empower. Let your every word be a declaration of the life you desire, spoken as if it is already here. Because the truth is, it is. The moment you claim it in the present, the forces of life begin to arrange themselves to make it so. There is immense power in silence, a power that most overlook. Words shape reality, but when they are misused, when they are filled with doubt, fear, or limitation, they do more harm than good. If you cannot yet bring yourself to speak in alignment with your desires, it is better to remain silent. Silence is not inaction. It is a conscious choice to guard your energy, to protect your creative power, and to avoid speaking words that reinforce the very conditions you wish to change. Many people speak without awareness, filling the air with complaints, self-doubt, and negativity. They do not realize that every word they utter is a command to the universe, shaping their experiences in ways they may not intend. They say, "I can't do this, nothing ever works out for me," or "life is unfair," and then they wonder why their circumstances reflect these beliefs. Words are seeds, and what you plant will grow. If you cannot yet plant seeds of abundance, success, and joy, at the very least, do not plant seeds of lack and limitation. Silence gives you control. It allows you to break free from the automatic patterns of speech that keep you stuck in unwanted cycles. When you feel the urge to complain, resist it. When you feel tempted to declare failure, remain quiet. The energy of silence is far more powerful than the energy of negative speech. In stillness, your mind can reset. In quiet, you can observe your thoughts without reinforcing them with words. This does not mean suppressing emotions or denying reality. It means refusing to give power to circumstances that do not serve you. When you are uncertain, when you are struggling, when you are tempted to affirm lack, pause. Let the moment pass without speaking against yourself. Words spoken in frustration or fear often carry more weight than we realize. A single moment of careless speech can reinforce patterns of struggle. But silence creates space. It stops the momentum of negative thought and allows you to choose your words wisely. There is a reason why those who understand the power of creation are deliberate in their speech. They do not waste words. They do not engage in conversations that drain their energy. They do not affirm what they do not wish to experience. Instead, they use silence as a tool, a way to preserve their inner strength and align their thoughts before speaking. They understand that words are not just expressions, they are decrees that set unseen forces into motion. When you feel ready to speak, let your words be intentional. Do not speak merely to fill the air. Speak only what uplifts, empowers, and aligns with the reality you desire. If you are not yet able to say, "I am wealthy," without doubt creeping in, then say nothing at all. If you cannot yet declare, "I am loved," without hesitation, then hold your tongue rather than reinforcing loneliness with words of despair. This practice will make you more aware of your speech. You will begin to notice just how often people around you affirm struggle without realizing it. You will see how conversations are filled with limitation, doubt, and fear, and you will have a choice to join in or to remain silent. Choose silence. Choose discipline over carelessness. Choose the power of restraint until you can fully stand in the truth of your desires. Silence will become your strength. You will not feel the need to speak just for the sake of speaking. You will find comfort in stillness, knowing that your energy is better spent on words that build, not destroy. And when you do speak, your words will carry weight. They will be backed by intention, by clarity, by the certainty that what you declare must come to pass. If you cannot yet speak in alignment with your highest self, then say nothing at all. Let silence be your shield until you are ready to wield words as instruments of power. In that stillness, transformation begins. In that quiet, the future is rewritten. Your words are the architects of your reality. Every sentence you speak is a blueprint, shaping the world around you, whether you realize it or not. Speak as though your desires are already fulfilled, for the subconscious mind responds only to the present. Avoid words of lack, for they create the very struggles you seek to escape. Instead, let your speech align with the abundance, love, and success you wish to experience. And when you cannot yet speak with conviction, choose silence over limitation. Guard your energy until you are ready to command your world with certainty. Mastering the power of words is mastering the power of creation itself. When you speak with intention, when you declare only what you seek, life will reshape itself to match your words. Align your language with your highest vision, and soon that vision will no longer be a dream. It will be your reality. Thank you for listening, and may your words lead you to the life you truly desire. For a moment, and imagine yourself standing in the midst of a storm. The winds howl, the rain lashes, but you, calm, still, unmoved. Remain centered. You do not resist the storm, nor do you engage with it. You simply are. Understand this. Life will always send winds of doubt, rain of criticism, and storms of uncertainty. People will test you, challenge you, seek to provoke a reaction. But the one who rises above is not the one who fights back. It is the one who remains undisturbed, knowing that their power is internal. The world reflects your state of being. If you assume the identity of someone who is easily shaken, life will provide endless reasons for you to feel disturbed. But the moment you decide, truly decide, that nothing and no one has power over you, everything shifts. Do not react. Observe. Do not fight. Assume victory. If someone disrespects you, if circumstances seem unfair, if events unfold that appear unfavorable, remind yourself, I am not moved by appearances. I am the creator of them. The one who maintains composure commands life itself. Nothing outside of you holds real power. The opinions of others are merely echoes of your past beliefs. If you remain still, if you persist in your knowing, the external world must reorganize itself to reflect your inner mastery. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is a mirror reflecting the state of your mind. Every thought you consistently hold, every feeling you entertain, and every assumption you accept as true shapes the reality that unfolds before you. Most people believe that life happens to them, that circumstances dictate their emotions, and that they are merely at the mercy of external forces. But the truth is the opposite. Life is responding to you. What you assume, you become. What you persist in believing, you manifest. The world cannot help but reflect the state of being you dwell in. Consider this. If your inner world is one of peace, confidence, and certainty, what can truly disturb you? If you assume the attitude that nothing and no one has power over your emotions, what force can shake you? The answer is simple: none. When you embody this state, the external world conforms to your calm, for it has no choice but to align with the consciousness you project. Look around at those who are constantly disturbed, those who react impulsively to every slight, who take offense at every word, who live in a perpetual state of frustration. Are they not trapped in an endless cycle of conflict? They believe that their reactions are justified, that the world is against them, that people are unkind, and so their assumptions become their lived reality, and the world reflects back to them exactly what they expect. But what if they chose differently? What if they decided, even for a single day, to remain undisturbed, to act as if everything in their world was unfolding in perfect harmony? They would witness a shift, for the world does not dictate their emotions dictate the world. You must begin to see life not as something that happens to you, but as something that is shaped by you. The moment you change your inner dialogue, your persistent assumptions, and the way you react to events, you will notice how circumstances begin to mirror your newfound state. If you assume the identity of someone who is at peace, life will bring you peace. If you hold firm to the belief that nothing can disturb you, disturbances will fade from your reality, not because the world has changed, but because you have. This is not to say that challenges will never arise. The world may still present situations that once would have triggered anger, fear, or frustration. But the key difference is that you no longer react in the same way. You do not see difficulties as personal attacks, nor do you allow external events to dictate your inner well-being. Instead, you stand firm, unshaken, because you have decided that nothing has power over you except that which you give it. Understand this deeply. When you feel disturbed, it is never the event itself that is causing your discomfort. It is your interpretation of the event. Two people can experience the same situation, yet one remains calm while the other spirals into distress. The difference lies in their perception, in the meaning they assign to what is happening. If you assume that life is unfolding in your favor, that even apparent difficulties are merely stepping stones to greater growth, then nothing can truly unsettle you. When you reach this level of inner mastery, you will notice something remarkable. People will respond to you differently. Those who once sought to provoke you will lose interest. Situations that once seemed stressful will resolve themselves effortlessly. Even those who doubted or opposed you will begin to reflect your newfound composure. Why? Because the world must conform to the dominant energy you project. If you are unwavering in your peace, the world around you will reflect that peace. This is why those who react emotionally to every little thing remain stuck in a cycle of turmoil. They believe they are responding to the world, but in truth, the world is responding to them. They assume the identity of someone who is easily disturbed, and life obliges by providing endless reasons for them to remain disturbed. But once you shift your assumption, once you step into the consciousness of someone who is unshakable, the game changes entirely. You no longer chase validation because you are self-assured. You no longer fear judgment because you recognize that opinions are powerless unless you give them weight. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself because truth requires no defense. And in this state, you radiate a quiet power, a presence so strong that the world bends to meet it. Act as if nothing bothers you, and soon nothing will. This is not a performance, not a mask to wear for others, but a deep internal shift. It is a choice to live from a place of certainty, to trust that all is unfolding perfectly, and to know that your reality will always mirror the state of mind you consistently dwell in. The moment you embody this, the world will have no choice but to reflect back the peace you hold within. Your emotions are not random. They are the direct result of the assumptions you hold about yourself and the world around you. Every feeling you experience, whether it be peace, joy, fear, or frustration, is a reflection of the state you have accepted as true. Most people believe that emotions simply happen to them, that they are at the mercy of external events. But this is not the case. The reality is that your emotions follow your assumptions, and the moment you take control of your inner world, your feelings will begin to align accordingly. If you assume yourself to be unshakable, if you truly believe that nothing and no one has power over you, your emotions will mirror that state. You will no longer feel anxious when things do not go as planned, nor will you be disturbed by the words or actions of others. Instead, you will experience a calm certainty, a quiet confidence that remains intact regardless of circumstances. This is the power of assumption. It dictates how you feel, how you respond, and ultimately, how the world responds to you. Consider for a moment the person who constantly reacts to everything around them. They are easily angered, easily hurt, easily thrown off balance by the opinions and actions of others. They live in a state of emotional turbulence because they assume they are powerless, that life is unpredictable, and that they must always be on guard. As a result, their emotions fluctuate wildly, dictated by every passing event. But in truth, it is not the world controlling them. It is their assumption that they are controlled. They believe themselves to be at the mercy of circumstances, and so their emotions follow that belief. Contrast this with the one who remains undisturbed. This person has made a decision, a commitment to the assumption that they are in control of their own inner world. They do not react impulsively to negativity, nor do they allow themselves to be swept away by external chaos. Instead, they remain centered, knowing that their emotions are their own to command. Because they assume themselves to be calm, their emotions align with that state. Because they assume themselves to be unshakable, they feel unshakable. The world may present challenges, but they do not waver, for they understand that all power lies within. When you grasp this truth, you will no longer feel like a victim of circumstance. You will no longer believe that your emotions are dictated by what others say or do. Instead, you will recognize that you have the ability to shape your feelings by consciously choosing the assumptions you hold. If you assume that nothing can disturb your peace, then no matter what happens around you, you will remain at ease. If you assume that you are always in control, then frustration, fear, and doubt will have no place in your mind. This is not about suppressing emotions or pretending that you do not feel. It is about understanding that emotions arise from within, not from without. It is about recognizing that you are not reacting to the world itself, but to your interpretation of it. If you change your interpretation, your emotional response will change as well. Imagine walking through life with the assumption that everything is working in your favor. Imagine truly believing that no setback is permanent, that no criticism has any real power, and that you are always exactly where you need to be. How would you feel? You would feel calm, certain, unstoppable. And because your emotions follow assumption, you would carry that energy with you in every situation. The one who remains undisturbed holds the power. Why? Because they are no longer controlled by fleeting emotions. They do not allow anger to dictate their actions, nor do they let fear shape their decisions. They understand that reacting impulsively is a sign of weakness, a sign that one is still ruled by external forces. But when you master your emotions by mastering your assumptions, you become unshakable. You become the one in control, the one who decides how to feel, how to respond, and ultimately, how life unfolds. The world will always test you. People will challenge you. Situations will arise that tempt you to react. But your power lies in your ability to remain still. When you refuse to be moved by appearances, when you stand firm in the assumption that nothing has power over you, your emotions will align with that truth. This is the essence of inner mastery. It is not about controlling the world, but about controlling the way you see it. The moment you decide that you are undisturbed, your emotions will follow. And when your emotions are steady, your actions become deliberate, your energy becomes magnetic, and your presence commands respect. You are no longer ruled by external forces, you become the force that shapes reality itself. True strength lies not in force, not in control, and not in the need for validation, but in detachment. The one who has mastered life is not the one who constantly seeks to shape external circumstances, nor the one who depends on the approval of others, but the one who remains unaffected by appearances. Detachment is not indifference. It is not about ignoring the world or refusing to engage with life. Instead, it is a state of inner power, a knowing that nothing outside of you has true authority over your peace, your emotions, or your destiny. Most people live in a constant state of reaction. They seek approval from others, and when it is given, they feel momentarily satisfied. But when it is denied, they feel inadequate, rejected, or even resentful. They try to control situations, believing that their happiness depends on everything unfolding in a specific way. When things go according to their expectations, they feel secure. But when life takes an unexpected turn, they feel lost. This cycle keeps them in a perpetual state of dependence, their emotions rising and falling based on external conditions. But the one who understands detachment is free. They do not look to others for validation because they already know their worth. They do not seek approval because they approve of themselves. They do not attempt to control everything because they trust that life is unfolding as it should. This is true mastery. Not the ability to bend the world to your will, but the ability to remain unmoved by the illusions of the world. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You may want success, love, or certain outcomes, but you do not need them to feel whole. You do not tie your happiness to whether or not things happen exactly as you wish. Instead, you cultivate an inner certainty that you are already complete, already powerful, already in possession of everything that truly matters. The paradox is that the more you detach, the more power you hold. When you stop chasing approval, people respect you more. When you stop desperately seeking love, love flows to you effortlessly. When you release the need to control every detail of your life, things begin to align in ways you never could have forced. This is the great secret. The less you grasp, the more you receive. The less you react, the more influence you hold. The less you need from the world, the more the world gives to you. Those who react emotionally to every slight, who seek constant reassurance, who demand that life unfold a certain way, they exhaust themselves. They live in fear of loss, in fear of rejection, in fear of things not going according to plan. But fear is a sign of attachment, and attachment is weakness. It places your happiness and sense of self in the hands of things you cannot fully control. The one who is truly powerful is the one who releases this grip, who understands that real security comes not from the outside, but from within. Imagine walking through life knowing that you do not need to prove anything to anyone, that whether people praise you or criticize you, it does not shake you, that whether things go exactly as planned or take an unexpected turn, you remain steady. This is the strength of detachment. It allows you to navigate life with grace, with ease, with the quiet assurance that all is unfolding as it should. When you cease reacting to appearances, you begin to see the deeper truth behind them. You understand that the world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. If you remain detached, if you refuse to be emotionally swayed by every passing event, you will notice that things begin to shift. Situations that once seemed urgent lose their grip over you. People who once tried to manipulate you lose their power. The noise of the world fades, and in its place, there is a quiet, unshakable peace. Detachment is not about giving up on life's desires. It is about releasing the desperate need for them. It is about knowing that everything meant for you will come in its own time and in its own way. When you operate from this state, you become magnetic, People are drawn to your energy. Opportunities present themselves effortlessly, and life begins to flow in a way that feels almost effortless. This is because detachment is alignment. It is the state of allowing rather than forcing, of trusting rather than grasping. And when you reach this level of mastery, you realize something profound. You were never truly lacking, never truly in need of anything outside of yourself. You were always whole. You were always enough. And in that realization, you become truly free. Silence is not weakness. It is not avoidance, nor is it passivity. Silence is power. It is the ultimate response to anything that seeks to pull you into unnecessary conflict, emotional turmoil, or energy-draining distractions. The need to defend, explain, or prove yourself is a symptom of insecurity, a sign that you still believe others have power over your sense of self. But when you master the art of silence, you step into a realm of control that few understand. You no longer allow external forces to dictate your emotions or reactions. Instead, you remain steady, unaffected, and in complete dominion over your mind. Most people believe they must always respond, always explain, always justify their choices, opinions, and existence. They fear that silence will be misunderstood as weakness or submission. But the truth is quite the opposite. The one who remains silent when provoked, who refuses to engage in trivial arguments, who does not react when baited, this person holds the real power. They do not waste their energy on proving anything to anyone because they know who they are. They understand that words are often a trap, that engagement in petty disputes only pulls them down to a lower level of consciousness. When someone insults you, criticizes you, or seeks to provoke a reaction, what happens if you do not respond? Their words lose power. Their attempt to shake you falls flat. They are left with nothing to grasp onto, nothing to fuel their own energy. But the moment you engage, you give them what they seek: your attention, your emotional energy, your presence in a battle that you never needed to fight. Is the ultimate assertion of self-restraint. It signals to the world that you are not easily moved, that your emotions are not at the mercy of external circumstances. It communicates confidence without the need for words. Those who understand power recognize silence as the response of someone who does not need validation, who does not need to explain themselves to those who have already made up their minds. Silence is also the key to mental and emotional clarity. When you speak unnecessarily, when you argue, when you try to force others to see things your way, you deplete yourself. Your energy is precious, and it should not be wasted on those who are committed to misunderstanding you. The one who is truly wise knows when to speak and when to remain silent. They understand that silence is not an admission of defeat, but a deliberate choice, a refusal to be dragged into anything that does not serve their peace. The world is filled with noise. Everyone wants to be heard, to prove a point, to win an argument. But in all this noise, the one who remains silent stands out. Their presence becomes more powerful because they are not easily accessible. Their words, when they do speak, carry more weight because they are not thrown around carelessly. People begin to listen when you speak less. They begin to wonder about the depth behind your silence, about the strength it takes to remain still in a world that thrives on reaction. It takes discipline to remain silent when you are tempted to defend yourself. It takes strength to walk away from an argument that serves no purpose. It takes wisdom to know that not everything requires a response. But when you develop this discipline, you become untouchable. Nothing and no one can pull you into unnecessary conflict. You decide when and how to engage. And more often than not, you will find that silence is the best choice. By maintaining silence, you assert dominion over your mind. You prove to yourself that you are not controlled by external forces. You cultivate a deep sense of inner peace, an unshakable knowing that does not require validation from others. And in this state, you become truly free. You are no longer at the mercy of the world. You have mastered yourself, And that is the greatest power of all. The world you experience is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back to you the state of your own mind. Every interaction, every person who enters your life, every situation that unfolds is simply an outpicturing of what you have assumed to be true, consciously or unconsciously. The moment you understand this, you free yourself from the illusion that others have power over you. No one can upset you, offend you, or diminish you unless you give them permission to do so. They are not separate from you. They are reflections of your own inner world. Most people live under the false belief that others have control over their emotions. They think, he made me angry, she hurt me, they disrespected me. But no one can make you feel anything unless you allow it. If someone's words or actions disturb you, it is not because they have real power over you. It is because they are mirroring something within you that has not yet been transformed. When you react emotionally to another person, you are not responding to them as they are. You are responding to the meaning you have assigned to them based on your past assumptions, fears, and unresolved beliefs. If you were in a state of absolute confidence, if you deeply knew your worth, could anyone's opinion shake you? If you truly believed in your own security, could anyone's actions make you feel insecure? The only reason another's behavior affects you is that it resonates with something within you. The moment you change your inner state, their power over you dissolves. This is why people seem to change when you change. You may have noticed that when you shift your mindset, your relationships shift as well. Someone who once seemed critical and cold may suddenly become warm and kind. Someone who ignored you may start to acknowledge and respect you. But they are not changing of their own accord. They are simply reflecting back the new assumptions you hold about yourself and the world. Many people spend their lives trying to fix others, to make them act differently, to seek justice for how they have been treated. But this is futile because it addresses only the effect, not the cause. The cause is always within you. If you see someone as a threat, as someone who has power to disturb your peace, you are placing them on a pedestal they do not belong on. They are only acting out the script you have assigned to them. Change the script, and they must change with it. To do this, you must begin to see people for what they truly are, reflections. When someone upsets you, do not ask, why are they treating me this way? Instead, ask, what within me is being reflected back? This is not about blame, it is about taking full responsibility for your experience. If someone is rude to you, are they mirroring an inner belief that you are not respected? If someone is distant, are they reflecting a fear that you are unworthy of love? The world is responding to your deepest assumptions, even those you do not consciously recognize. This understanding does not mean you tolerate mistreatment or accept poor behavior. It means you recognize that fighting against others is unnecessary, because the real battle is within. The moment you adjust your state, the external world must conform. When you assume you are worthy of respect, you will find that people begin to treat you with respect. When you assume you are loved, love will naturally flow to you. This is why fear and resentment are wasted emotions. If you see others as threats, you give them power. If you hold on to anger, you keep yourself trapped in the very state that created the situation to begin with. But the moment you detach, the moment you stop reacting and start shifting your inner world, the reflection in the mirror changes effortlessly. Imagine living in a world where no one could upset you, where no words or actions could shake your peace. That world is possible, not by changing others, but by changing yourself. When you stop seeing people as separate forces acting upon you and begin to see them as reflections responding to you, you reclaim your power. You become the cause, not the effect. And in that realization, you step into true mastery over your life. The one who is truly unbothered does not wait for circumstances to grant them peace. They do not look to the world to provide validation, security, or assurance. Instead, they assume the feeling of peace first, knowing that the outer world must eventually conform to their inner state. They do not react to every challenge, nor do they waver in the face of uncertainty. They have already decided who they are, and because they live from that end, nothing external can shake them. Most people believe they need the right conditions to feel at ease. They think, I will be at peace when my problems are solved. I will feel secure when I have more money. I will be confident when others respect me. But this way of thinking places power outside of yourself. It makes your emotions dependent on things beyond your control. And as long as you operate this way, peace will always remain just out of reach, dependent on circumstances that may never align exactly as you wish. The truth is, peace is not something you acquire, it is something you assume. It is a state of being, a decision you make moment by moment. The person who is unshakable has already claimed their peace. They do not wait for people to change, for problems to resolve, or for external validation to arrive. They step into the state of peace now, fully embodying it, knowing that as they persist in this state, their world will mirror it back to them. This is the secret to mastery. The world reflects what you dominantly feel and believe. If you continue to react to appearances, you are affirming them as real and unchangeable. But when you assume the state you desire and live from it as if it were already true, reality must eventually conform. The person who is unbothered does not need proof before they feel at peace. They do not wait for external confirmation. They claim it now. Consider the difference between someone who constantly worries about how others perceive them and someone who moves through life with quiet confidence. The one who is anxious, who second guesses every action, who seeks reassurance from others, this person has placed their power outside of themselves. They believe peace will come when people approve of them. But the one who is truly confident does not need approval. They have already assumed their worth, and because of that, others naturally begin to see them as worthy. Living from the end means fully embodying the reality you desire before any evidence appears. It means deciding that you are already at peace, already confident, already secure. Right now. This is not about pretending or forcing a false sense of calm. It is about shifting your identity, assuming that the person you want to be is not something you will become, but something you already are. The world cannot help but reflect back to you what you believe yourself to be. If you walk through life with the conviction that nothing disturbs you, that you are immovable, that you are always in control of your inner world, then no external force can disrupt you. Others may try to provoke you, but you will not react. Circumstances may shift, but your peace remains unshaken. This is because you have already made the decision, I am at peace, no matter what. This does not mean you ignore reality or avoid taking action. It means that your actions flow from a place of certainty rather than fear. When you live from the end of peace, you no longer chase things in desperation. You no longer react impulsively out of anxiety. You operate from a deep knowing that all is unfolding exactly as it should, and because of that you remain calm in the face of uncertainty. People often believe they must control everything around them to feel secure. They think they need to fix others, plan every detail, and force outcomes to go their way. But real power comes from surrender. Not surrender in the sense of giving up, but surrender in the sense of trusting the process, knowing that as long as you hold firm to the state of peace, everything will naturally align. This is why the truly powerful person does not chase, does not beg, does not force. They know who they are, and because they live in that knowing, the world adjusts to them. The unbothered person is not without challenges, but they do not see challenges as threats. They see them as opportunities to reaffirm their peace, to deepen their certainty, to prove to themselves once again that they are in control of their inner world. So if you desire peace, assume it now. Not tomorrow, not when things get better, not when others treat you differently. Now. Act as the person who is already unshaken. Speak as them, walk as them, think as them. When challenges arise, remind yourself, I have already chosen peace. Nothing and no one can disturb me. Persist in this, and soon the world will reflect it back to you. You will no longer be waiting for peace to arrive. You will be living it, because you have already claimed it as your own. The true power of an unbothered mind lies in the decision to live from the end of peace. It is not about controlling the external world, but about mastering the inner one. When you stop reacting, stop seeking validation, and stop allowing appearances to dictate your state, you reclaim your power. You no longer wait for peace to come. You assume it now. Your reality will always mirror what you dominantly believe and feel. If you see people as reflections rather than threats, if you detach from the need to prove yourself, if you respond with silence rather than engagement, you will find that nothing and no one can disturb you. The one who remains calm in the face of chaos holds true dominion over their life. So, decide today. Act as if nothing and no one bothers you. Assume the role of the unshakable, the unwavering, the one who is already at peace. The world will shift to reflect this inner certainty. Thank you for listening. Stay in your power, stay in your peace, and watch how life transforms in your favor. Be still for a moment, close your eyes and feel the energy around you. Something is happening, the air feels different. The very fabric of reality is shifting. You have planted seeds with your thoughts, your intentions, and your quiet whispers to the universe. And now, the time has come. Everything you have asked for is on its way. The universe is returning everything to you. But here's what you must understand. Nothing ever leaves you. What you believe, what you assume, and what you feel in the depths of your soul remains active. It is never lost. It is simply awaiting the perfect moment to return in its full form. You have felt the delays, the waiting, the seeming absence of movement. But the delay was never a denial. It was preparation. It was the alignment of forces beyond what your eyes can perceive. Look around you. The signs have already begun. You have felt them, a song, a number, a conversation that seemed to echo your deepest desires. These are not mere coincidences. They are the universe's whispers, letting you know the miracle is near. Do not beg. Do not plead. That which is yours does not require effort, only certainty. Assume that it is done. Walk as though it has already arrived. Speak as though you already possess it. Feel as though it is already in your hands. Your belief is the doorway through which your blessing enters. The moment you drop resistance, the floodgates open, and then, suddenly, effortlessly, it appears. The call comes, the opportunity knocks, the long-lost dream materializes before your eyes. Miracles are not rare occurrences, they are natural laws. They happen the moment you align your consciousness with their reality. And today, right now, you stand at the edge of one. The universe is not withholding, it is responding. It is giving you exactly what you have been prepared to receive. Are you ready? Then see it now. Feel it now. Give thanks now, because your miracle is here. Every action, every thought, every emotion you have ever released into the world has not vanished. It has not disappeared into nothingness. It lingers in the unseen, waiting, circling, destined to return in its own perfect time. You may believe that your past efforts, your kind gestures, your silent prayers, and even your struggles have gone unnoticed. But the universe is meticulous in its balance. Nothing given is ever lost. Every seed you have planted, whether in the form of words, deeds, or intentions, will find its way back to you. Think of the ocean waves, constantly in motion, always returning to the shore. Just as the tides flow and recede, the energy you send out into the world must come back to you in some form. It is the natural order of existence. A simple word of encouragement spoken to another, a moment of patience, a genuine act of love. These are not forgotten. They set in motion an unseen current that will eventually bring back to you the very essence of what you gave. Likewise, your thoughts hold power. What you habitually dwell upon, whether it be love, abundance, or fear, must return to you as an outward experience. You are never merely thinking, you are creating. Every thought is a cause, and every experience is an effect. The mind, like fertile soil, does not question what is planted. It simply nurtures and returns what was sown. If you have ever wondered why certain patterns seem to repeat in your life, look to the thoughts you have entertained most consistently. Perhaps you have given endlessly your time, your love, your support, without seeing immediate returns. You may have felt as though you were pouring into others while receiving nothing in return. But the universe does not operate on human timelines. The return is inevitable, but it will arrive when the conditions are ripe. Just as a farmer does not plant a seed today and expect a full harvest tomorrow, you must trust in the unseen process. The fruit of your actions is developing beneath the surface, even if your eyes cannot yet perceive it. Impatience often clouds the understanding of this principle. People give and expect an immediate result, as if the universe were bound by human schedules. But all things unfold in divine order. What is meant for you will return when it aligns perfectly with your life's unfolding story. Until then, your task is not to chase the return, but to trust in its certainty. Worrying, doubting, and questioning only create resistance, delaying what is already yours. The same law applies to what is sent out in negativity. Those who sow deceit, cruelty, or harm are not exempt from this principle. The universe does not operate with bias. It simply reflects. The person who acts with malice will find that malice revisits them, often when they least expect it. The one who speaks ill of others will one day find themselves the subject of whispered words. Nothing sent out escapes the cycle of return. Knowing this, you must become conscious of what you are emitting into the world. Every moment you are shaping the future by what you choose to think, say, and do in the present. If you desire love, give love freely, not out of need, but out of abundance. If you seek wealth, embody the mindset of abundance, trusting that provision flows naturally to those who do not hoard but circulate. If you long for peace, carry peace within you, even when the world around you seems chaotic. There is a profound power in knowing that everything returns. It allows you to release bitterness, knowing that you do not need to seek revenge, for the balance of life will take care of all things. It frees you from fear, because you understand that all your goodwill, all your effort, all your unseen sacrifices will come back to bless you. It shifts you from a mindset of lack to one of security, knowing that the universe is constantly working on your behalf. Your only responsibility is to continue giving, to continue believing, and to continue trusting in the process. Let go of the need to control how and when things return. Simply live in alignment with the truth that nothing is ever truly lost. It is all coming back to you in ways that will astound you. So pause for a moment and reflect. What have you been giving? What have you been sending out? Because that is exactly what is making its way back to you. And imagine for a moment that everything you desire is already yours. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Feel the weight of certainty settle into your being. What would change if you knew, beyond any doubt, that your wish was already fulfilled? How would you think, speak, and move through the world if you had the very thing you long for? This is the key, the secret that unlocks the unseen forces that shape your reality. You must not wait for external proof to feel fulfilled. You must not base your emotions on what your senses report. The world you experience is simply a reflection of what you have previously assumed to be true. If you look only at what is now and decide your future based on that, you will remain trapped in a cycle of repetition. But the moment you assume the feeling of fulfillment, you break free. You step into a new reality. Consider a person who deeply desires love. If they walk through life feeling lonely, yearning, and believing they are incomplete without another, they only reinforce that state of lack. Their thoughts, emotions, and actions all confirm what they do not have. But what if instead they assume the feeling of being completely and profoundly loved? What if they carried themselves as if love were already present, not pretending, truly feeling it, as if it were an unshakable truth? Their entire energy would shift. Their posture, their words, their presence would radiate something new, something magnetic. And soon, the world would be forced to conform to this new inner state. This principle applies to every aspect of life: wealth, health, success, happiness. The one who walks in the feeling of already being wealthy will naturally make decisions from that state. They will not operate from desperation or grasping, but from ease and certainty. They will notice opportunities that others miss because their mind is no longer focused on lack but on abundance. And in time, that assumption must solidify into their external reality. But how does one assume the feeling of fulfillment when circumstances seem to say otherwise? It begins in the mind. You must engage your imagination fully, immersing yourself in the experience of already having what you desire. Do not wait for proof. Create the proof within. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude as though it were happening right now. If you desire financial freedom, imagine checking your bank account and seeing the numbers that bring you peace. If you long for success, feel the deep satisfaction of accomplishment, the quiet knowing that you have already arrived. If health is your goal, embody the lightness, the energy, the vitality of perfect wellness. This is not mere daydreaming. It is a shift in identity. You are not someone hoping for a change. You are already the person who possesses the very thing you seek. There is no waiting, no striving, only being. When you embody this state with conviction, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect your new assumption. Doubt is the only enemy. The moment you question, analyze, or look to external circumstances for validation, you weaken the foundation of your new reality. You must persist in the assumption even when nothing seems to change, especially then when you feel the urge to say, where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet? That is the moment to deepen your conviction, not waver. Look at your life as it is now. Everything around you, everything you experience daily, is the result of past assumptions. At one point, whether consciously or unconsciously, you accepted these conditions as true. If you wish to change them, you must change your assumption first. The external world is secondary. It only mirrors what you hold within. The great mistake is to believe that feeling fulfilled comes after the manifestation. The truth is, the feeling is the cause, and the manifestation is the effect. If you grasp this, truly understand it, you will never again chase, struggle, or plead. You will simply decide, assume, and know. And in knowing, you will see the miracle unfold before you. There comes a moment in every journey when you must release your grip, when you must stop analyzing, doubting, and questioning how things will unfold. This is the moment when true power is revealed, for it is only in surrender that the forces of the universe can move freely, unobstructed by your resistance. The more you try to control, the more you attempt to force outcomes, the further you push away what is already trying to make its way to you. Consider the river that flows effortlessly to the ocean. It does not resist, does not question whether it will arrive. It simply moves, trusting in the natural course of things. But imagine if the river hesitated, if it doubted its path, if it tried to reverse its flow out of fear that the destination was uncertain. It would create turbulence, struggle, and delay. This is exactly what happens when you resist your own desires by doubting their fulfillment. You may not realize it, but the very act of questioning, asking when, how, or if something will happen, signals to the universe that you do not yet believe. And the law is simple: you do not receive what you wish for, you receive what you know to be true. If you truly knew your desire was already on its way, would you feel the need to question? Would you check the time, wondering why it has not yet appeared? No. You would move through life with a deep sense of peace, knowing that all things are unfolding perfectly. Resistance is born from fear. The fear that things will not work out, that you are not worthy, that something beyond your control is preventing your desire from manifesting. But this is an illusion. The only true obstacle is the one created by your own mind. The moment you release resistance, everything begins to flow effortlessly toward you. Think about a clenched fist gripping tightly onto something. The harder you squeeze, the more tension builds, the more difficult it becomes to hold on. But the moment you open your hand, relaxation sets in. This is what happens when you stop resisting. You create space for what is meant for you to arrive. You allow rather than force. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means stepping into certainty. It is the deep inner knowing that what you desire is already in motion. You do not need to push, chase, or demand. You only need to align yourself with the feeling of already having it. And how do you do that? By letting go, by trusting, by shifting your focus away from lack and into the quiet assurance that all is well. That, you have seen this in your own life. Think back to times when things seemed to effortlessly fall into place, when opportunities arrived without struggle, when what you once hoped for appeared just when you stopped worrying about it. That was not coincidence. It was the absence of resistance. When you let go, you allow things to move naturally, and the universe responds accordingly. This applies to all things: relationships, money, health, success. If you are grasping, if you are desperate, you create an energetic barrier that pushes away the very thing you seek. But when you relax, when you stop trying to force an outcome, you step into the flow of abundance. Let go of the need to know exactly how your desire will manifest. That is not your concern. The how is beyond your understanding, and trying to control it only limits the infinite ways in which your manifestation can arrive. Instead, trust that the path is unfolding in ways that you cannot yet see. Release the timeline. Stop measuring progress by what your eyes can perceive. The unseen is always at work, orchestrating events, shifting circumstances, aligning the right people and opportunities. But if you keep looking at the physical world for validation, you will keep reinforcing the old reality. True surrender means knowing it is done, even when there is no visible proof. When you finally let go, when you stop questioning, doubting, and controlling, you will feel it, a lightness, a sense of relief, a deep breath that tells you all is well. And in that moment, the universe moves. Doors open effortlessly, opportunities arise, and what you once chased will come to you. So trust, stop resisting, let go, and watch the miracle unfold. You have been conditioned to believe that time is a rigid, linear force, that there is a past, a present, and a future, and that you must wait for things to unfold according to some external schedule. But this is an illusion. Time is not something outside of you, controlling the pace at which your desires manifest. Time is simply a reflection of your state of mind. The moment you align with the feeling of already having what you desire, it begins to move toward you. Not in some distant future, but now. Think of time like a river, but not one that flows forward in a straight line. Instead, imagine it as a vast ocean, where every possibility already exists, waiting for you to claim it. You are not moving through time, time moves through you, responding to your consciousness. The delay you perceive between desire and manifestation is not because your wish is far away, it is only because your mind has not yet fully accepted its reality. Consider this: if you plant a seed, do you stand over it in frustration, demanding that it sprout immediately? No. You understand that growth is already happening even though you cannot see it. You trust the process, knowing that in due time the seed will break through the soil and reveal itself. But in truth, the moment the seed was planted, the tree already existed in potential. The same is true for your desires. The instant you claim them as yours in consciousness, they exist. The only thing that determines how quickly they appear in your physical world is your ability to remain aligned with them. The more you believe in time as a barrier, the more you push your desires into the future. If you say, "One day I will have it," or "It is coming soon," you unknowingly reinforce the idea that it is separate from you. But the truth is, there is no gap between you and your desire, except the one you create with your thoughts. Instead of waiting, begin to live from the state of already having it. Assume it fully, with no doubt, no questioning. When you do this, you collapse the illusion of time and bring your manifestation into the present. Many people make the mistake of measuring progress by what their physical senses show them. They look around and see nothing changing, so they assume their desire is still far away. But this is like checking the soil for the seedling and declaring it dead because it hasn't broken the surface yet. The process is always in motion, even when you cannot see it. Think about moments in your life when something you wanted seemed to take forever, and then suddenly it appeared. Maybe it was an opportunity, a relationship, a financial breakthrough. At the time, it felt delayed, but once it arrived, it felt inevitable, as if it had been waiting for you all along. That is because it was. It was never delayed, it was simply waiting for you to align with it mentally. The key is to remove your awareness from time altogether. Stop tracking, stop waiting, stop watching the clock. Instead, shift your focus to the certainty that it is already done. Feel it now. If you truly knew your wish was already fulfilled, how would you think? How would you act? Would you be anxious, or would you be at peace? The answer is clear. Time bends to consciousness, not the other way around. When you assume the feeling of already having what you want, you accelerate its arrival. You allow things to unfold effortlessly, without resistance, without delay. And most importantly, you free yourself from the frustration and impatience that come from believing you must wait. Your desires are not in the future, they exist now. The only question is whether you are willing to claim them in your mind. The moment you do, time ceases to be a factor. What you once thought was delayed will arrive with breathtaking speed, and you will wonder why you ever doubted at all. Before any great manifestation, the universe whispers. It does not always announce itself with grand gestures, but rather with subtle signs. Small, almost imperceptible shifts that signal your desire is on its way. These signs are the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the gentle confirmation that your inner world is beginning to take form in the outer world. They come as synchronicities, strange coincidences, repeated patterns, or even fleeting moments of intuition that seem to say, "It's happening." But here is the truth. These signs are not random, nor are they accidental. They are the direct reflection of your state of consciousness. When you align yourself with a desire, when you mentally accept its reality, the world begins to adjust accordingly. People, events, and circumstances start to rearrange themselves, much like a puzzle slowly coming together. At first, The pieces may seem scattered, unconnected, insignificant. But as they continue to appear, the bigger picture reveals itself. Many people overlook these signs because they expect their manifestation to arrive all at once. They believe that if their desire has not fully materialized, then nothing is happening. But this is a misunderstanding of how creation works. All things unfold in stages, and the first stage is always the appearance of these signs. They are not merely hints. They are evidence that the unseen is becoming seen, that the forces of the universe are moving in response to your belief. You may start noticing repeated numbers: 111, 220, 442, 404, patterns that seem to follow you everywhere. These are not coincidences, but markers, signals from the universe that you are in alignment. You may overhear conversations where strangers speak words that seem eerily relevant to your situation, or a song may play at just the right moment, delivering a message that speaks directly to your heart. Someone may mention an opportunity, a place, or an idea that directly relates to your desire. These are all reminders that you are on the right path. Even in nature, signs appear. A sudden change in the weather, an animal crossing your path in an unusual way, a feather landing at your feet. These are all the universe's way of speaking in symbols. The question is, are you paying attention? Or are you dismissing them as meaningless? The more you acknowledge these signs, the more they will appear, for awareness magnifies what is already happening. Sometimes, the most powerful sign is an internal shift. A sense of calm washes over you, even when circumstances remain the same. Doubts that once consumed you suddenly fade, and a deep knowing replaces them. You begin to feel as if your manifestation is inevitable, even before there is any external proof. This too is a sign. When your inner world shifts, the outer world follows. It is only a matter of time. There will also be moments of divine timing, unexpected encounters, chance meetings, or situations that seem too perfectly aligned to be mere coincidence. A person you had no way of meeting suddenly crosses your path. An opportunity appears just when you need it. A door that once seemed locked opens effortlessly. These moments are orchestrated by forces beyond what the eye can see, and they are confirmation that everything is unfolding as it should. But there is something important to understand. Do not become so fixated on signs that you start seeking them out, for that would mean you are doubting the process. Signs are meant to be noticed, not chased. The moment you start looking for them with desperation, you introduce resistance, pushing your manifestation further away. Instead, adopt the mindset of certainty. Trust that things are already in motion, and allow the signs to come to you naturally. There may also be moments of contrast, temporary setbacks, unexpected challenges, or things seeming to fall apart before they come together. Do not be discouraged by this, for sometimes the old must be cleared away to make space for the new. What seems like a delay is often the final stage before manifestation. If something is removed from your life, trust that it is making room for something greater. The universe is always speaking to you. Every moment is a message, a confirmation that your desire is nearing its physical form. Do not dismiss the small things, for they are leading you to the big things. Watch, listen, and trust. Your miracle is closer than you think. Gratitude is not just a polite expression of thanks. It is the powerful force that aligns you with the reality you seek. It is the final key that unlocks the door to your desires, the bridge between what is unseen and what is seen. When you give thanks for something before it even arrives, you are signaling to the universe that you already possess it. And because the universe mirrors your state of being, it has no choice but to confirm that reality. Most people wait to be grateful until after they have received what they want. They say, "I will be thankful when my wish is fulfilled, when my circumstances change, when my desires are in my hands." But this is the wrong order of creation. If you wait to feel gratitude, you are affirming that you do not yet have what you desire. And as long as you remain in a state of lack, the universe must continue reflecting that lack. True gratitude is an inner knowing, a deep and unwavering feeling that what you seek is already yours. It is not about hoping or wishing, it is about embodying the certainty that what you have asked for has already been given. The moment you shift into this mindset, you move into receiving mode. You become like a magnet, effortlessly drawing your desires into your reality. Imagine for a moment that your desire has already been fulfilled. Picture it vividly in your mind. Feel it, experience it as if it is happening right now. Now ask yourself, how would you feel? Would you be relieved, excited, at peace? You would undoubtedly feel grateful, overflowing with appreciation for what has come into your life. That feeling is what you must cultivate now, before any physical evidence appears. Gratitude is the language of faith. When you give thanks in advance, you are demonstrating absolute trust in the unseen. You are declaring to the universe, I know it is done. I do not need to see it to believe it. I believe it, and so I will see it. And because reality bends to your assumptions, that which you affirm with gratitude must make its way to you. Think about the times in your life when something you wanted seemed to appear out of nowhere. Reflect on the moments when things aligned perfectly, when an opportunity, a relationship, or a financial breakthrough arrived effortlessly. If you look closely, you will realize that those moments were often preceded by a shift in your emotions, a moment of peace, of detachment, of gratitude, before the manifestation appeared. That was no accident. It was the power of alignment in action. The greatest mistake people make is allowing their gratitude to be conditional. They say, I will be thankful when my circumstances change. But gratitude is what changes circumstances. If you withhold your thanks until after you receive, you are delaying the process. The key is to feel grateful now, even when there is no visible proof, because the moment you do, the proof begins to appear. Even in the midst of struggle, even when things seem uncertain, find something to appreciate. Gratitude is not just about being thankful for what you want. It is about recognizing the good that already exists in your life. When you focus on abundance, you invite more abundance. When you focus on what is missing, you reinforce its absence. Some people believe they cannot feel grateful until their reality changes, but the truth is, reality changes when you feel grateful. The energy of appreciation is a signal that you are ready to receive. It is the final step, the last piece of the puzzle that completes the picture. If you want to accelerate the arrival of your desires, begin each day with gratitude. Before your feet touch the floor in the morning, give thanks. Thank the universe for the blessings that are on their way, as if they are already here. Say, I am so grateful that everything I desire is unfolding perfectly. I am so thankful that my wishes have already been granted. Feel the joy of already having them. Gratitude requires no effort, no struggle, only a decision to believe in what you cannot yet see. And when you make that decision, when you embrace gratitude as your natural state, you step into a flow where miracles become inevitable. The universe responds instantly because it has no choice. It is only ever reflecting back to you the energy you radiate. So do not wait. Do not withhold your thanks until your desires appear. Give thanks now, as if you have already received them. And then watch as the universe delivers exactly what you knew was yours all along. Everything you desire is already in motion. The universe is not withholding anything from you. It is simply responding to the state of your mind. The moment you align with your wish fulfilled, the forces of creation move to bring it into form. You do not need to struggle, beg, or chase, only to assume, trust, and allow. The law of circulation ensures that what you have given will return to you. Your assumption of fulfillment creates the reality you seek. Releasing resistance clears the way for your manifestation. Time is merely an illusion. Your desires are already yours the moment you accept them. Signs will always appear to reassure you, and gratitude is the final key that opens the door to receiving. Let go of all doubt. Rest in the knowing that everything is working in your favor. Your miracle is not a possibility, it is a certainty. You need only align, believe, and watch as reality shifts to match your inner world. Thank you for listening, and may you walk forward in faith, knowing that what you seek is already seeking you.